and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please hit the like button. Mystic Sensation absolutely went off, in my opinion, and rightfully so. You hear, I showed you the article, and well, I read the article because I can't put it on the computer. I read it from my phone, where Andrew Honest now is pushing on a campaign to repeat it, and pretty much tell whatever story that they want to tell about the history of the PMP. Well, let us let us let us counter that by and this is a charge to all vloggers. Let us counter that and tell the bold, honest truth with facts and evidence. And this is one of the major reasons why the Jamaica Labour Party should never be given the opportunity to ever again be government for this country, because we're gonna see that they really don't care about the benefit of the people, only themselves. Let's take a look at this, and then yes, I have to present the information, so I have to go back and then go forward so everybody can get the full context. Listen to this.
Never went any further. But it is my responsibility to remind this House and the country that the economic foundation that the country now enjoys was built by the People's National Party from 2012 to 2016. When we inherited our country's economic fundamentals were in a perilous state at the end of 2011 when the JP left office. And Mr. Speaker, the PMP undertook the very difficult task of rebuilding our international credibility, of re-establishing relationships with donor agencies, and doing the heavy lifting to put the country back on the right track. So the macroeconomic fundamentals that are bearing fruit, now that returns on the structural and tax reforms which were implemented have led to higher revenues. And Mr. Speaker, it is because of those tax reforms that we implemented which led to efficiencies in tax collections, which have seen tax collection increase over a significant period of time, and higher revenues for the government. So, Mr. Speaker, they can't claim paternity for fixing the economy. And if they try to claim paternity, we would call it a jacket. We would call it a jacket. And if you did the DNA, the DNA would say, I'm a student picnic, a PMP picnic. Mr. Speaker, we recall the years where the economy experienced 14 consecutive quarters of negative growth from 2007 to 10, only to achieve a mere 1.5% in 2011. So I was just surprised that the history lesson didn't go that far on Tuesday. It conveniently stopped.
Thank you.
Shame.
The economic situation from 2007 to 2011 could just be described as dire, notwithstanding the fact that we had a global financial crisis. We did. But notwithstanding that. And yes, the government implemented fiscal responsibility framework and they rolled out a JDX program, which the IMF had required us to do. But Mr. Speaker, even with those, it did not solve the problem. The JLP abandoned and effectively ended the 27-month standby agreement that the country had. And let me just explain. Abandoned, not just failed a test, didn't take a test, just abandoned. And don't take my word for it. Let me quote Trevor Alain, the then IMF mission chief to Jamaica, who captured the severity of this period in an interview. And I quote, the JP-led government, did it without consulting us. That's when I knew the program was in trouble. Mr. Speaker, as my friend Horace Daly would say, not even a WhatsApp or a text message they sent to the IMF. Abandoned the program. The collapse of the IMF program under the JP's watch not only strained relations with the fund, but affected funding from other multilateral organizations. Following the IMF's decision, the World Bank, the IDB, and the EU withheld support. Mr. Speaker, the international financial community had turned its back on Jamaica. By 2012, late 2011, we were on the precipice of economic collapse. We didn't have access to the international financial markets. Public debt had soared to 134% of GDP. Our very survival as a nation was at stake. And I just want to share with you some statistics. The fiscal deficit at the end of 2011-12 was 6.2% of GDP. Wow. Inflation was at 7.3% by the end of 2011-12. And this is according to the government's fiscal policy people. The Jamaican people, yearning for change, entrusted the responsibility of the country to the People's National Party. And in that period, we managed to negotiate a new IMF agreement with the support of our international allies, which provided a financial lifeline for Jamaica. But make no mistake, it was a painful negotiation. The IMF felt that we had to be taught a lesson because the level of trust had broke down. Dr. Peter Phillips, who could be considered the father of that fiscal transformation, in an article written in the Financial Times, said, "My first few weeks were spent in a dialogue of the deaf. There was a view that it would take a complete collapse to force Jamaica to change. My job was to convince the IMF that we were serious this time, but there was a big trust deficit. We were making no progress on our own in negotiating a deal with the IMF. The JLP had left a bitter taste in their mouth." The Financial Times published an article quoting an IMF insider, and this is what the IMF insider said when there were meetings with the IMF staff team and the Jamaican delegation. He said, "Has Jamaica crashed yet?" That is where we were at the end of 2011. It was Portia Simpson Miller who used her international financial capital, political capital, to get our friends in the Black Caucus in Congress to lobby the IMF so that we could renegotiate an agreement. Congresswoman Maxine Waters led a delegation, I believe it was on Christmas Eve, to the IMF, to the then Managing Director, Christine Lagarde, and basically pleaded the case of Jamaica, for Jamaica to be heard. And, Mr. Speaker, we had to undertake very difficult reforms. Some of those measures were painful. They involved raising taxes because we had to run a large fiscal surplus. But it was the passing of these tests, our adherence to fiscal discipline, and our efforts in reducing the debt that has handed the Labour Party the economy that they now enjoy.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, me I go give you a quick 30 seconds to the bridge, just call me a while, but I have an important message for you, Alright? We'll go back right, but we have to talk to the people and we do some
Hold on. What I call me tell Jamaica say, whether JLP or PNP, tell Marky G, tell the whole Senate, say Andrew Holness is trying to become a dictator over Jamaica to punish Jamaica people and make them become a slave for Andrew Holness because of the high way and find and the corruption Mark Golden, our exposing Mark Golden get in. He might try to create war. He want to become a dictator over Jamaica. Jamaica people don't wake up. Something wrong with that brother there. He realize him done. He want to become a dictator over one of Jamaica people. We don't vote out that boy, you know. We don't vote him out today. It's a trouble for you know. Dictator, the boy want to become, you know, some come talk about PNP shouldn't allow back in power. And which people are going to say that if you really run a fair election, you shouldn't be saying that. It's because the PNP want to build schools and hospitals and they want to break it down to make sure we're not dead. Bolo Megania, man, burn out the dictatorship out of Jamaica because the boy didn't have nothing about him in a punk. Understand the Samoa agreement you know go see. Alright, my brother, love you, sir.
Love.
Rastafari.
Yes, sir.
Out! Whoa! We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything.
Congresswoman Maxine Waters led a delegation, I believe it was on Christmas Eve, to the IMF, to the then Managing Director, Christine Lagarde, and basically pleaded the case of Jamaica, for Jamaica to be heard. And, Mr. Speaker, we had to undertake very difficult reforms. Some of those measures were painful. They involved raising taxes because we had to run a large fiscal surplus. But it was the passing of these tests, our adherence to fiscal discipline, and our efforts in reducing the debt that has handed the Labour Party the economy that they now enjoy. So, Mr. Speaker, when I listened to the history lesson on Tuesday, I wondered why the history lesson didn't go all the way up there. Didn't go all the way up there.
Alright, if you don't think a lie, Mattel, I'm going to show you this. Talk to them, Mystyc. I'm going to have to give credit where credit is due now.
But apart from that,
He presented a real budget.
oh yes. Apart from that, I have the documentation to back up what Julian Robinson said. And everything. This is the thing. Whenever the People's National Party, members of parliament, right, speak, they speak with what we call tangible evidence, tangible facts, right? And show them everything that Julian Robinson said. We are going to back up tonight with the facts, right? To show you that the man rich in material, rich in presentation. Here's some people that ask for PNP policies, you know, but they don't understand. Say, listen, PNP have the policies so rich, and when they pour out, I hope them can take it, you know. I hope them can take it. No, we can't give it to them now because we know it's a few months left before we kick them out, you know. So we can't give them. We can't give it to them now. So even if them take it, the people them go say a PNP policy that give up PNP the policy. You understand? So them can't do nothing with it right now. Now let us get into the opposition spokesman on finance, Julian Robinson.
You want the document?
Yes. Let us get into that in terms of, and we are going to show some facts with that. Start facts. Because when you come over here, you understand, we not just speak and don't make you satisfied when you're leaving, you know. We give service over here. Remember, we have some excellent customer service agents, you know. We have Melting Pot and we have Pastor Ricky. Excellent customer service agent, and we are here to work for the people. Now, look at this. Prime Minister Andrew Holness and his Jamaica Labour Party government cannot claim paternity for fixing the Jamaican economy. And time we hear them jump up in a parliament, you know. Mike, my name, Nigel Clark. Because if its policy bring Jamaica out of the economic abyss. State opposition spokesman and finance and the public service Julian Robinson. If they try, they will be getting a jacket. Robinson declared Tuesday during his contribution to the 25 and 2026 budget. Okay, take it away, honey. Let us look and give me why Julian Robinson would have said that. And let us show the world that what Julian Robinson had said, right? He made that statement based on concrete facts. So what Mystyc Sensation had done, Mystyc Sensation want to know that we get to our electorate, pass on the information and said, okay, what Julian Robinson said, don't watch the JLP beating their desk, you know. That's all them do. That's beat this and thief. What the Jamaican Labour Party good for? Beat this and thief.
Stealing.
Right, that is their mandate. What is the Jamaican Labour Party mandate? Beat this and thief. Now, let us look at the facts. You know, we shall go for the facts, people. Let me tell you when we go for the facts. You know? Because I'm very political, strategic. I'm a very, you know, strategist in the politics. You know? And I'm quite strategical. So I go to nationwide. For information. That's what. You know, if you talk to me.
The man gone nationwide for the information.
Funny, honey.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have over 140 of you watching. Please hit the like button.
God, that
Please
is funny.
hit the like button so the video can get out in the algorithm and the message and the information and the facts can go out to other people. Do not be selfish, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue.
You know, because I over 15 place, me go and get the truth, you know. Him don't need to talk to me. So I could go over nationwide. And you make sure that me no go on the cleaner because me here warming ten o'clock to the cleaner, so the cleaner they go on like them the PNP side. So me say
Embarrassing.
make sure so what I am giving the people facts. You know what? Let me go over nationwide and get it. You understand? That means that any person I go on, they have to cost out themselves. Alright.
Yeah, man.
Go over nationwide. Jamaica passes 8 IMF tests, right? Nationwide. Make it go over nationwide. You take the man tonight.
Yeah.
Now, here's the evidence. And so when Julian Robinson saying that the JLP cannot claim paternity for fixing the economy, this is the reason why Julian Robinson is saying that Jamaica passes 8 IMF tests posted by who? Abka Fitz-Enlino.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go right to that article so you can see it even clearer while Mr. Mystyc Sensation is speaking, alright? Let's go. Because I'm not playing a game today, no. We're up on rock and roll today, no. Alright?
Fitz-Enlino, 16th of June 2015, no, look no people. The Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund has confirmed that Jamaica has passed the 8 consecutive tests under the 4-year extended fund facility program. This development means the IMF will disburse a $40 million to Jamaica. In a press release issued this morning, the IMF is also lauding plans, you hear that people? Lauding plans by the Simpson-Miller administration to achieve what? Sustained economic growth. When you hear that people? The IMF is lauding plans by the Simpson-Miller administration to achieve sustained economic growth. The Finance Minister, Dr. Peter Phillips, announced last week that he expects a positive review from the fund today. More good news for the country's economy. An executive summary posted this morning on the website of the IMF stated all performance criteria have been met by Jamaica. Want to hear that, people? The only exception being the primary surplus balance, which was narrowly missed. Now, according to Washington-based multilateral, the potential for the Jamaican economy to grow in a substantial way is gradually improving. Right? Gradually improving. So when Nigel Clark attack and run off his mouth, Nigel Clark need to say that he get a wonderful economy handed over to him by Portia Simpson, where he simply carry on the policy, right, to make sure that Jamaica stay on a positive path. The prospect for crucial investment being secured. Now, the IMF statement is projecting that the country's economy will grow by about 2% this fiscal year, that is 2015 in a people. According to the IMF, this prediction is buffered by the effect that the full year impact of lower oil prices and improvement from last year's drought are beginning to materialize. An improvement in the business climate is also being noted. We are talking to the electorate tonight, you know, because for one, the electorate understand the difference between the People's National Party and the Jamaican Labour Party. The fund said reduced oil prices are expected to send inflation down faster than previously anticipated. Now people don't see the inflation on our face now.
It's 9:15. How am I already underwater?
I'm in the same boat.
I'm in an actual boat.
I thought Grammarly just...
And in 2015, this, you know, where the purchasing power was powerful, you know, and where the $6,000 minimum wage could have buy a lot of things. When you see the $15,000 under the Jamaican Labour Party can't buy nothing.
Embarrassing.
Weak. Full marks are also being given to the Simpson-Miller administration for the implementation of its economic reform agenda. Here it is, people. Here's the evidence. That it is the Portia Simpson administration who had done the economic reform agenda, not the Jamaica Labour Party. So please, I want the entire Jamaica to listen to this, hear this. It is not the Jamaica Labour Party who has came up with that implementation of economic reform agenda. So when Andrew Wallace is talking about economic reform, this and all of that, he is carrying out the policy of Portia Simpson administration, right? Which the IMF says remains in what? Good standing. You are beaten teach them tonight, you know. Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips and his technocrats have been consistently criticized by the Parliament opposition for failing to craft and implement a credible plan to grow Jamaica economy in a significant way. When you hear how them deceive, them labor right are deceitful. Now after Portia Simpson are going so well, hear them with them nasty politics. Finance Minister Dr. Phillips and his technocrats have been consistently, criticized by who? The parliamentary opposition, that are the GLP at the time, for failing to craft and implement a credible plan to grow Jamaica economy in a significant way. Now, let me ask Andrew Honest now. 9 years with the economy, and now where it is today, -5, failing 3 consecutive quarters, putting the country in a recession. This is what I say yesterday, Andrew Honest. Here you criticize the People's National Party right here, in the paragraph, Here you, Andrew Honest. Wanna come show the labor right then. Peter, Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips and his technocrats have been consistently criticized by the parliamentary opposition for failing to craft and implement a credible plan to grow Jamaica economy in a significant way. Now, what happened to you now? What happened to you now, Andrew Honest? What happened to you now? In a processing time, right? And the amount of money we're missing. Did you have $3 trillion unaccounted for in a processing time? May I tell you, you're all criminal. All criminal. But the IMF disagree. You hear people, but the IMF disagree. The IMF said, shut up on the mouth. All of them good for propaganda. This time I'm not telling no lie. Let me read it and the people get what the paragraph has said. Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips and his technocrats have been consistently criticized by the liar parliamentary opposition for failing to craft and implement credible plan to grow Jamaica economy in significant way. You know what the IMF said? But the IMF disagree. The IMF said, shut up on the mouth, you damn liar, all propagandists. In the statement today, the Washington-based multilateral said authorities in Jamaica have produced a comprehensive strategy. Take it away, let me feel proud. Come to the IMF for back with.
Very proud of that performance, man.
You understand what I say? And them gone shrink the people them. Show the people them clocks.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you debunk the lies that are told by the Jamaica Labour Party. So whatever the JLP comes out and says, after this, you understand it is not true. They are lying to you, the people of Jamaica, and you should not allow them to lie to you without letting them know that you know that they are lying. You should put it in their face that you are knowledgeable now. Share this with everybody, not just comrades, all Jamaicans. Everybody, it is time to free the minds of the people, ladies and gentlemen. It is time. The IMF disagrees with, it says, Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips and his technocrats have been consistently criticized by the parliamentary opposition for failing to craft and implement a credible plan to grow Jamaica's economy in a significant way. And the IMF disagrees. But ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Honest has got 9 years, 10 years to craft and implement a credible plan to grow the Jamaican economy in a significant way. And I ask you the question, are we not in a recession right now, ladies and gentlemen? Do I need to go and find the clip on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen, where Mr. Hassan is simply worried, terrified, frightened of what is happening, ladies and gentlemen? I am going to find the clip, ladies and gentlemen.
What I will comment on is that right now, as it stands in the Jamaican economy, the economy is struggling. It's probably the worst I've seen in the 30-odd years I've been in business. The buying power is the weakest, and government needs to find ways to, catalyze the economy to be able to grow. We tried our best a few years ago, and Jamaica started to see growth. But right now, they've done so many things to stagnate the industry. Interest rates need to come down quickly. The Bank of Jamaica needs to come out of their tunnel vision and start thinking out of the box to manage the economy, because right now, it's in a very stagnant stage and actually in a dying stage. and it is actually quite frightening what is happening out there. When you speak to business people, people are saying they're seeing anyway in as 50% down in terms of sales, their retail trade, and every expense is going up. Their rental rates that they're paying to rent these shops and stores is going up. The light bill consistently is up. It's a tough world out there, yes, but we can do things to make it a little easier for our people in this country. So the minister and the government has a lot to do, and the Bank of Jamaica and our commercial banks, to try and stimulate this economy, because if they don't start doing something now, the economy is going to start fumbling and they're going to be in big trouble.
I want you to expand on that a little bit more for me, Mr. Azan, because it's good to hear your views on that, because the
economy is going to start fumbling and they're going to be in big trouble.
I want you to expand on that a little bit more for me, Mr. Azan, because it's good to hear your views on that, because the data is suggesting, and we hear the government talk a lot about economic growth and inclusiveness. It talks about business confidence is at an all-time high. We know of unemployment rate, the best that it has been. Is it that the manufacturers are not seeing all of that? What exactly is happening? Why is there a dissonance between the two?
There are one or two businesses that may be seeing some growth, but I tell you, the general economy is struggling out there. The real estate side of things, the building, the construction side of things is slowing. Interest rates has played a major part in doing that. And the business side, the manufacturing side is struggling. And we need to find ways to stimulate back this economy, because what we've done over the years and tried to build it back, coming from where we're coming from, I think what we've done in terms of managing this inflationary issue, I think we've gone about it possibly in a little different way that we could do something, but it is creating a havoc in the economy right now. Buying power is the weakest that I have seen in all my years of doing business. I'm not just speaking from my own business, but generally because I sit on other boards, it is very weak, and it is actually a little frightening for me when I am looking out there and seeing what's happening in the economy out there. So we need to find ways of trying to find ways. The Bank of Jamaica needs to come out. Commercial banks need to start doing things to stimulate stuff, because you're going to find ourselves in a real pickle if we don't do something quickly.
We know the issue of the interest rates and the adjustment by the bank.
So that is somebody of major importance when it comes on to the economy. 32 years of experience, and those 32 years including the years that PNP, Portia Simpson Miller, was in power. And he's saying, how you doing, Nehru? Big up to Darren. Alright? So let's go on more in the article. It says, a comprehensive outline has been also provided by Simpson Miller administration regarding plans to tackle the need for macroeconomic stability and strategic investment which promote job creation. Meantime, the IMF says while the dangers facing the IMF program are slowly being reduced, they remain high. The IMF says in the absence of strong economic activity, social support for demanding program may falter. It says external financial flows could be affected by external shocks, notably higher U.S. interest rates or changes in the Petro-Carib flows. I believe this affected us. This right here, the high interest rates. The inflation is too high now, and the Jamaica Labour Party has really done nothing to really quell that. You understand? So, man, listen. Let me see if this article is saying the same thing. 8 IMF tests pass. Jamaica has passed that. But Miss Rama Krishan says the country was granted a waiver for missing the target dollar amount for primary surplus target. Okay, I guess Orville Burke was there and files this report. This is the shorter version. So the previous one was the, let me see. Jamaica has passed 8 IMF tests. That's according to the new IMF head of mission of Jamaica, Miss Yuma Ramar Krishna. But Miss Ramar Krishna says the country was granted a waiver for missing the target dollar amount for the primary surplus target. The disclosure was made at a joint IMF Minister of Finance press briefing in Kingston this morning, and Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips says although Jamaica has successfully completed 8 reviews under the program so far, challenges remain. So ladies and gentlemen, the Jamaica Labour Party had us in such a pickle that even after passing those 8 IMF tests straight, We still were in limbo. We still had a lot of work to do. This is the reason why. And big up Mystyc Sensation. Make sure you go over there and go subscribe. This is the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, the Jamaica Labour Party should be rejected. They absolutely should be rejected. You understand? One of the main reasons for them as a party and some of the individuals that were actually a part of that administration still remain today. Ardisha is there. He was the finance minister. They are the ones that did that. They abandoned the program, lost trust in the IMF. I mean, what kind of irresponsible behavior is that? As a matter of fact, I'll go a step further to say, was that what they intended to do? I'm asking the question. Were they intending to destroy Jamaica in that instance? Didn't they know that messing with the IMF like that in terms of those agreements would put us, the Jamaican people, into a dangerous situation? Was that their intention? Right? Jamaica in serious recession, and that is the reality. In such abominable to downplay honesty. The CEO is right, but some people are still denying facts. Exactly, Onel Smith. That is another thing. The Jamaica Labour Party seems to encourage lying to us, the people, or not telling us the full truth. That is a whole nother reason why, ladies and gentlemen, we should reject these people. Absolutely reject them. You understand? But let's continue on to the next one. Hey y'all, please remember to hit the like button. I know y'all come in sometimes and y'all forget, but the main thing, man, y'all gotta hit the like button, man, and share the live stream. Come on now, stop playing. Support. The like button is free, heard?